Hey everybody, welcome to Conservation News Network. So today we're going to be checking out some more videos from Kruger latest sightings. And the first video that we're going to be checking out is hidden crocodile bites at leopard from below. So just having a look at this at the description at the bottom of this, you'll see that the person who submitted this one is from Lion Sands Narina Lodge. So that is in the Kruger, and it's just on the bank of the Sabi River. It's actually really close to Skukuza, which is the main tourist hub for Kruger National Park. And I suspect that this river here is the Sabi River. And based on the chatting that you can hear from the people, these people have actually gone up for a guided tour. So Lion Sands Narina Lodge is actually looks like a pretty swanky lodge. And very, very expensive, right on the bank of the Sabi River. $3,500 to stay there. So, well, $3,845 per night in, this is peak season. So, yeah, pretty swanky lodge. If you got the money to stay there, fantastic. For us general folk, we're happy just camping. Anyway, let's get into the video. So, look at this. First of all, we've got a leopard chilling out on the on this rock here. There's a dead hippo. We have no idea how that hippo died, but it's been sort of banked on this rock here. That can be quite common. I do a lot of kayaking, and one of the big causes that we have problems that we end up having is when somebody ends up having to get out of their boat, the boat actually comes up and then gets stuck on a rock, and it can be actually really difficult to get the boat off because you have all this water surging down, and yeah. So let's continue on with the video. Let's not forget that.
Everybody okay with that little bit of braiding?
Wait till it stops. Now just go back. If you have a look, wow, that is an old leopard. So the thing about leopards is they can live to about 12 to 15 years old in the wild, but once they start getting a bit older, their teeth begin to kind of erode, and they actually lose a lot of teeth, and so they end up actually going for sort of easier prey. Leopards will eat just about anything in the wild, but their main source of food is generally impala, especially in a place like Kruger. Impala are essentially, we call them McDonald's because they're everywhere. They've got kind of like an M on their butt, and then also, so like McDonald's, and also they're a food animal. So they're fast, so they're kind of like fast food. That's a joke that we always make when I was in Africa. But so the thing with leopards is that they will actually, once they start getting older, they'll start going after livestock because there's far less risk when going up and trying to take livestock in a way compared to taking other animals. And but there is also another inherent risk that they might be dealing with people, and people are dangerous as well. So they'd be prepared to kind of switch their risk factor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, look at that. So I don't know if you can see, I was debating earlier on what kind of animal, whether it's a male or female, but I think this is actually a male. It kind of looks a bit bulkier, and also I think if you have a look, let me just move over to the side. So I think just there you can see his balls. So yeah, I seem to think that this is a male leopard. Also, males compared to females have they've got like a bit of a chunkier face as well. If you ever see like a male cat, like just even a domestic house cat compared to a female cat, like the males, I got a big boy who jumped up early when I was trying to record, and I wasn't actually recording. And he's almost double the size of my female cat, and especially the males, they end up sort of getting like a big chunkier face. So watch that. Oh wow. You look at this animal. It is super skinny. Like, look at that. Like, you can see just like around through here. I'm not doing a very good job of doing that, but yeah, you can see this leopard is super, super frail. And even despite the fact that it's a really old animal, it was still able to jump between those two rocks, which shows just the type of agility that these animals actually have. Absolutely amazing. So now he's having a look to see what he can actually find. I also wouldn't be surprised if this animal can actually knows that there are people watching, but the animals in Kruger are just so used to seeing vehicles and people watching them all the time that they just don't care anymore.
I think he's realizing.
I don't know if you also heard the guide in the background said, "Oh, he's realizing." So I think the guide, yeah, I trust the guide. Whenever you're going on a safari, especially in places like this, and especially at a really expensive lodge, the guide probably knows what he's talking about. I don't know. Just trying to stop at a good spot. But if you have a look at that left eye, let's see if we can find something. The leopard's obviously checking out to see if there's any way that... yeah, have a look at this left eye. This one here. Yeah, you can tell this leopard has been in the wars. It's probably seen a lot of stuff, probably got into a lot of fights with some of the other predators. So leopards, you know, they are hated by every single other animal on the in the bush, and because leopards will eat anything. They'll go and kill leopard tiger cubs. They'll go and not tigers. What am I talking about? Lion cubs. There's no tigers in Africa. Well, they kind of are, but they're introduced into some areas. Interestingly enough, you actually find lions in India, though, where there are tigers. So, and then also cheetah, also in India and Iran. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, so
yeah,
that eye. Yeah, it looks like she's blind in one eye. Which is amazing that he's able to have that depth perception. Yeah, that looks like he's blind. Still able to have the depth perception to be able to jump across those rocks. And he's trying to figure out, how can I get to that hippo? Great filming, by the way.
It would be insane if you come towards it.
Yeah. I would say that's incredibly risky.
Yeah, that would be.
that would be sad. I don't think he'd be able to swim.
There's definitely crocodiles in that river. Sabi's known for having some monster crocodiles.
Straight off to the surface. I think to be so old, I don't think he knows his limits now. Yeah. It's also riskier than a crocodile. Pardon? Probably quite.
So animals are always trying to outweigh risk versus reward. So an animal will take the risk if the reward is high enough, i.e. if they think they're going to be able to get enough food from that. But most of the time, an animal will essentially avoid taking that risk if they think that their life is going to be at danger. And doesn't mean that they may die right then and there, but it could be that they get injured. And so if you get injured, it means you can't hunt. And if you can't hunt, you die. So the part of the thing is that, you know, the risk is, okay, can I come out of this unscathed, or because even a minor injury for some of these animals is a death sentence.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Please don't do it. I've got all these other jumps. Yeah, I've got all these other jumps.
You can, I would say, Also, if you hear, if you listen really closely, you can actually hear the buzzing of the zoom as she zooms in or out. That is one skinny leopard. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this leopard, if it wasn't in such a, because this part of Kruger is like surrounded by wildlife. You have to go quite far out to be able to start going into more of the communal areas. So I'd be surprised if this leopard was on a fringe thing, it would 100% be trying to take livestock from farmers. So once again, the agility of that animal, just amazing.
I got it on video, not photo, so.
The question is, when is this crocodile going to come out? We're almost at the end
What
of the
if he
video,
decides
so
to eat easier food than Leopard?
yeah, as the person who's commentating said, there's probably easier food. Even though leopards are fantastic swimmers, this water is going really, really fast, and you're going to be swept away so quickly if you get caught in this. And so, you know, the likelihood of him being able to actually get onto that rock is like almost nothing. And it looked to me like it was quite far of a jump to jump between the two bits. And maybe a younger lion could have done it, but this is an old animal. Whoa! Oh my God! Look at that! Great shot right here. I'm hoping I can get a good, get a good thing. Is that highest quality? Yes, it is. Whoa! Look at that. That's phenomenal. Did you see how high that leopard jumped? I mean, I just about jumped that high out of my seat when I heard it. And look at this. You can see the crocodile just coming straight out of the water. And when crocodiles come and attack out of the water, they are just so incredibly quick. And I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if this crocodile had been hanging around here watching this leopard the entire time. Crocodiles are notorious for being able to sit down and wait and wait and wait and wait. In fact, a lot of villages that get eaten by crocodiles, the crocodile will sit down and just outside in the middle of like a lake or something like that, and just watch the area because they've got eyes on either side. They don't, unlike us where we have frontal vision. Crocodiles actually have a vision that can span quite far away, so they can very easily see in lots and lots of different places. And I mean, they've been around for hundreds of millions of years, so they've been around since the dinosaurs. So they are just the most well-adapted predator, especially when it comes to being in a water environment. But as I was saying, you know, what'll happen is that the crocodile will sit and it'll watch. And you know, in Africa, quite a lot of times, people will be going down to the river to get water for drinking, for washing, and all that sort of stuff. And so the crocodile will notice, hey, somebody's coming down here around 9 o'clock in the morning. And so then what it'll do is around 8:30, it'll sit there and wait. And then it'll go, okay, here's that person. And bam, it'll go. And that's when people get eaten by crocodiles. And so if you're ever in an area where you have to go down to the water where there are crocodiles, don't ever, ever, ever go to the same place twice, and always switch up when you're going to different times as well. So don't be going to one specific place at 9 o'clock every time, because the crocodiles will notice you doing that. Whereas it's, you know, if you absolutely have to, I would highly recommend not going down to the water in the first place if there are crocodiles. But if you have to, switch it around. Look at that. We got a slow motion, and let's just. We look at that. It was really, really difficult to see. But as the crocodile came up to try and attack, the leopard actually took a swipe at him. Let's just look back again. Yeah, it was difficult. So it actually took 2 swipes at it and then jumped. So boom, boom. it took it another swipe, and then it jumped. So, obviously, this leopard's known by the lodge owners, and so because it's got a name, and luckily, he managed to escape without an injury. So that's super awesome. Okay, the next one is we're going to look at how some tourists react to some lions. So this is also in Kruger. It's on one of the main paved roads. I was talking about paved roads in one of my earlier bits, and this is in Lower Sabi. So just to give you an idea, Kruger National Park is like the size of Israel. It's huge. So Lower Sabi is, from my understanding, let's just close this one down. Lower Sabi is sort of somewhere around here. So obviously this is the Sabi River and Sabi Sand Game Reserve, and that's a really famous game reserve where there were actually there's lots of really interesting stuff about that. I could talk about that for ages, but we've only got a certain amount of time that I can think. But yeah, so Lower Sabi would be sort of like around here from my understanding. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, first of all, let's back up. Okay, straight up, it looks to me like this guy has his window down. Now, I don't know if you know much about the rules in Kruger, but sorry, my phone's going off. But the rules around Kruger is that you should never, ever have your windows down. Now, I can understand if it's getting really, really hot, you might want to crack it. That's totally fine, but don't have your window down fully all the way. It can be really, really dangerous in a place like this, especially when you've got 3 male lions that are, quite inquisitive like these ones are. And they're coming up right past his window. So I'd also like to, if you have a look at, let's have a quick look at this behavior. So have a look. These lions, they're obviously pair bonded. So I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of these lions are actually brothers. So when lions get to a certain age, they get kicked out of the pride because otherwise they start trying to root the, well, root is an Aussie term, but they trying to mate with their sisters and their mother as well. And so the females end up chasing these guys out, and they end up, the sort of young male lions end up living a really, really hard life because they, first of all, are not allowed in the area that they grew up in. So they have to move out, and then they have to essentially stake a claim in a territory. And often those territories are also being held by another male or another set of males. So they end up having to fight to be able to get that territory back. And quite frankly, a lot of male lions end up dying as a result. There's some big boys. See, look at that. See, and that's what I mean by, I reckon they're brothers. So, they're obviously being affectionate to each other. You see that with cats all the time, where they come up and they rub up against each other. And part of it is also they're imparting their scent onto you because they trust you. Now let's have a look at this real quick. Now look at this. I mean, dude, you can see. Actually, let's have a look at this real quick. Boom. He's got his finger on the on the window trigger, ready to pull it up in case this lion decides to actually come up and go, okay, well, let's have a proper look at you. He's pretty lucky that the lions are not doing that. And so, yeah, okay, at that point, I would probably just leave the window open because actually bringing the window up, the lions are inquisitive animals. All cats are inquisitive. And I reckon by trying to lift the window up, you could actually get it to come and pay more attention to you, which is not what you want. That lion is so close, he could have reached out and patted it. You'd get your hand ripped off, but Look at that. And now he went and brought it down again. Man, that is not smart. And also, guys, don't film like this. Always try and film like this, because there's these days with shorts and everything like that. But personally, I prefer when they film, with landscape instead of portrait.
Don't close your window.
Okay, you can see now both of them.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, the driver, had the right idea. Wind up the windows. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit hot, but it's better than being 100% dead. And when if a lion kills you, like, that is not a good way to go. See, this guy's now super inquisitive. You wonder if the windows actually made him more inquisitive, but even then, I still wouldn't take the risk. If you are in your car with the windows up, that is definitely 100% the safest thing you can be. Lions are strong, but they would really struggle to actually be able to break through the glass of the car window.
Just get ready to start the call.
So, I don't know if you could see that from the look on this guy.
Just get ready to
Let's have a look at it. It's kind of difficult to see, but they already do have some, what do you call it? Some scarring and that on their face. Oh, what is this guy doing with the windows? Come on, man.
If you don't worry, just hold.
This guy's saying don't worry, but he's... and of course the lady's worrying because he keeps winding down the window. I'd be worried too, man. Yeah, don't worry. These lions aren't... Yeah, but like these lions could actually attack you. So I'd recommend having the windows up. So you have a look on the back. This guy has some scarring. Oh, come on. Let's see it again. I'm going to stop it right there, but you can actually see just... Here we go. This is where it is there. You can see that scar on the back. And also there's quite a few scars on their faces as well. Lions are super resilient though. Like, if you saw, like, I've seen some things where some lions have been badly mauled, like, faces torn up and that sort of stuff. But they are just surprisingly resilient, and something that you would think, oh, that lion's going to die from those injuries. Actually, you see him about a month later, and he's scarred, but he's actually still looking okay. Ooh, look, he's...
Right there,
okay.
David.
Look, at the end of the day, if you're in your vehicle, you are I wouldn't say 100% safe, but when it comes to lions, you're pretty damn safe. I'd say that, you don't need to drive off. I would say just sit there and wait. The time when you should start getting worried is if they start chewing on the tires. Though that's something that hyenas do more than lions do. Though I have seen lions actually chew on tires as well. So, they're like all cats, they're always inquisitive. And yeah, so let's continue. You can see more cars coming up. There's actually a decent amount of cars on here. I bet you every single person in those vehicles has got their phone out recording this. This is early. I think it looked like it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure what time of year it is though, but it looks to me like it's sort of, could be Aprilish.
Fuck away from my call. Ja, kom ons gaan.
Yeah. Okay, then they decided to keep on moving. So finally, let's have a look at some people who are doing 100% the wrong thing. So Here we've got elephant shows tourists why you shouldn't get out of your car. Now, this is something I've been saying quite a bit, is you are very, very much safer in your car. And when it comes to elephants, like elephants can, unless you really understand the behavior, they are really, really unpredictable and can go from being relatively chill to all of a sudden just attacking you immediately. So, couple of things about this. This is set in Kruger Gate. Paul Gate, which is Paul Kruger was a well, I don't know my South African history that well. Paul Kruger, I think, was one of the prime ministers, or one of the heads of state in during the apartheid time, and Kruger National Park is named after him. I'd have to go and check more about that, but Kruger Gate's actually very close to Skakusa as well. So this is an area which has a lot of elephant. It's got some of the highest densities of wildlife on the planet. And so I would recommend staying in your car. Even if you're at the gate or something like that, I would say get out of your car. If you have to get out of your car, have a quick look around, go and do your things, pay your fees, that sort of stuff, and then get back in and enjoy your safari. Don't hang around and start filming from while you're outside of your car. See, look at this. Okay, straight up, we can tell, okay, this is a female. It's difficult to tell from this far away, but there's a couple of telltale signs. First of all, if you have a look at the undercarriage of her, it's quite a lot lower. The males, they'll actually be sitting higher. Now, one thing we'll also notice is she's got her head up like this. It means elephants have really bad eyesight. So one thing they'll actually do is they'll lift their head up so they can actually get a better view of you. And so then they can determine, okay, am I going to fight or flight, or what am I going to do? And another thing with females is if there's one female, that's usually not the case. There's usually a whole bunch more. And Kruger has a lot of elephants as well. So I would be really, really, really cautious. And I certainly wouldn't be getting out of my car and away. Like, if you're right by your car and you can jump in, that's still, I still wouldn't recommend it, but at least that is safer. But if you are like this lady here, this one here, and probably this guy as well, like they are pretty. Think about how long it would actually take for that elephant to close the distance to get from here to here. It's probably only like 15 meters. It's difficult to tell, but that they could do that in seconds. Whereas, like, how long is it going to take you to turn around, run over to your car, and not trip, by the way, because look, trip hazard. Not trip. You could also end up injuring yourself on here as well, on the metal, and then get in your car, turn your car on, and drive off. There's no way that you're going to be able to do all that by the time this cow closes the distance on you. Very stupid behavior. Look at this. Can you see she's shaking her head? Okay, another thing. First of all, I don't know if you saw this, but look, there we go. Another one's coming out of the bush. But one thing that you should keep an eye out is the tail. Now, as we're watching this, what you'll notice is the tail is really, really straight. Now, when the elephant is relaxed and calm, the tail will be swishing like that. They'll be chill. But if the tail is straight, it means that they are nervous or potentially going to charge. And you can actually tell which way the elephant is going to charge by which way the tail is actually pointing. So if the tail is pointing to the right, then it's going to be then it's going to be charging to the right or moving to the right. If it's going to be doing to the left, it's going to be doing that. And this is when it's doing a mock charge or a real charge. And also with female elephants, very rarely a mock charge. It's generally a real charge. Also, you can see this elephant swaying its head and everything like that.
Check.
And look at this. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. This is...
Check out the pala.
Okay. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Okay, first of all, I think... Well, first of all, we can just see this is Paul Kruger here. But, oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is just idiotic. These people are there. They're not paying attention at all. Oh, my God. This is... You can see this guide. I don't know if this is a guide or not. I think he might be the owner of... Looks like this Nissan. Oh, my God. Those women have gotten the fright of their life. Oh, and look, you can see these other people over here as well. Just chilling, watching it. Let's see how this pans out. Right, you can see this elephant is really, really not impressed. Okay, I'm going to tell you something right now. Honking your horn is going to do absolutely F all in this situation. There's nothing that you can do that's going to stop these elephants from doing. All you're doing is making them stressed. And a stressed elephant is an elephant that is even more likely to charge. So I would also say, like, there's so many things to talk about in this video, really. I mean, first of all... Run. I don't know if you guys ever read a book. There's a book that I read when I was younger called Whatever You Do, Don't Run. But in this situation, yeah, they made the right choice by running. They would have been killed if they didn't. But honestly, if you are even if you're at these sort of like gates or these parts where you're allowed to get out of the vehicle, I would, unless you are really cautious of your surroundings, I would say don't do that. And if you do, make sure you have some really good running shoes and maybe a diaper. But see what I'm talking about with the tails? Every single one of these elephants has their tail out as straight as possible. They've got their heads up. So I actually do want to go back to a couple of things that we could notice about this just before we finish off. So quite often you might have the matriarch or one of her sisters. So elephants are actually a group, when they work they're actually in groups. They are I wouldn't say paternal groups, but they're familial groups. And so generally, like you could have the matriarch, who is the head elephant. She knows where to go. She's the most senior elephant. She's usually the oldest, and she's often the mother of a lot of the other elephants in the group. Because don't forget that elephants can live for 50 years or up to 50 years in the wild. And so she could be also one or two of her sisters as well. But quite often, you'll have one female elephant who generally won't have a calf go in and investigate the situation. So, excuse me. Sorry, I got a bit of indigestion. Ate some fruit too fast this morning. But yeah, so, and what you did notice here with this, see, look, she's backing off as well because she's unsure what she wants to do. But she is essentially going up and being the guide and being, okay, what am I going to do? And because if there's going to be an elephant that charges and attacks, it's going to be her. It's very, very likely going to be this individual right here. So let's just watch this again. Backing off. Now, quite frankly, and you can see this person here, right here, they blur their face because what they're doing is stupid. But quite frankly, if I saw all these elephants in there like that, look, I have a huge amount of experience with elephants. And, when I was working in Zimbabwe, we'd be going and fixing up the water pumps, and we'd often see elephants have big herds, up to like 30 or 40 come up and drink while we were fixing the pumps. But if we saw like a big group with cows and calves, I would always be super nervous. And quite frankly, I would always have my vehicle really, really close and in a getaway position, so that we could and I generally would tell someone, look, why don't we chuck someone in the car ready to go? And then all the cars that we had were Buckies, or in Australia, a Ute. And so that in that position, we could literally just jump up and jump into the Bucky, and then just hot tail it out of there. But look, she's even looking back.
Check.
She's even looking back. I would not be looking back. But yeah, and these people, they see them, they're already running. But they're not running very fast. And see, she even charged at them. And luckily they were kind of moving off to the side. And see, that's that same cow I was telling you about earlier. But look, I think. And these other people in the back, they're also shitting themselves. So this is actually, let's have a quick look at which side it's on, because if we have a look at the Paul Kruger gate, yeah, here we go. You can see the Paul Kruger statue right here, and then this is where the gate is. So this must be like late dry season, because look at the difference. Like the Sabi River is actually really got a lot of water in this photo. I don't know when this photo was taken, but it's obviously during the rainy season, because look how green it is. But in this, you can see just how dry it is, and just goes to show that. And I reckon this could be actually October, because look at all this rain cloud. October, maybe November. It's the end of the dry season. It looks like everything's starting to potentially get. They're about to get a big soaking. This is from 4 years ago, so I can't remember. 4 years ago, I think they were having a drought then. But anyway, I think this is where we're going to end it today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I always read all the comments. So thanks, everyone, and we'll check you next time.